Assalamu alaikum everyone. This video is a quick peek into the issue task, and we will be looking at what is the issue task, what categories of issue tasks you can expect to find on the exam, and we will be taking a sample issue task, breaking it down, and taking a quick look at the scoring guide. So, let's see. What exactly is the issue task? They will give you a very general statement and you will have to basically take sides with it. The instructions that follow with the statement, always, the one instruction that will always be there is the extent to which you agree or disagree. Now, other instructions that may or may not, that will be included, will be one of the following five: the ways in which the statement might or might not hold true, describe specific circumstances in which adopting the recommendation would or would not be advantageous, be sure to address the most compelling reasons and/or examples that could be used to challenge your position, address both of the views presented, consider possible consequences of implementing the policy, explain how these consequences shape your position. So basically, um, what are they exactly asking from you? The first thing they're asking is to make abundantly clear exactly whether or not you agree or disagree with the statement. The second thing they're asking is, say you agree with the statement, show how it's possible to disagree with this statement and how that may or may not hold true. So it's basically like being on a debate team. You have a point of view, you know the good points about it, but there's also another team. They're going to come at you and you need to have points to back it up with. You need to concede where that makes sense. Let's see. What do we have next? The categories. Do you guys know about the ETS pool? Basically, the ETS is the Education Testing Service, which is responsible for the GRE examination, and they have a pool. I actually went through this web page and counted the number, a pool of tasks, and I went through and counted them, which probably was not the best idea, but yes, they have over 150 tasks listed, and it is guaranteed that the task you will face in the exam is going to be picked from one of the 150 that they have there. They have it for the issue task and for the argument task. So the topics that could potentially come up, I went through the Magoosh website and this is where I got the categories from. And then I went back to the ETS pool and scrolled through it looking for examples of all of the categories. So let's take a look. The first one is education. It's mostly about college. One of the examples I found was educational institutions have a responsibility to dissuade students from pursuing fields of study in which they're unlikely to succeed. And the next one we have is technology and society. One aspect is entirely society, which is society should identify those children who have special talents and provide training for them at an early age to develop their talents. Another one is a purely technological aspect where some people believe that our ever increasing use of technology significantly reduces opportunities for human interaction. Other people believe that technology provides us with new and better ways to communicate and connect with others. Another point of view that you might come across is the interaction of technology and society and how both of them affect each other. This is also a common subcategory. Another category is cities. I added really EDS because when I was making the presentation, I wasn't really sure why there was a separate cities one. I think it's more of a subcategory than a separate category, but again, it's up to you however you classify them. But in cities is it's quite it's a quite common topic. They will bring up stuff like it is primarily in cities that a nation's cultural traditions are generated and preserved. Another way of naming this category could be society and sorry, culture or I don't know, maybe nation. Okay, next we have arts. In arts, arts is a huge category that is potentially not something most students would like to take on. Now, that doesn't mean that this is your excuse to avoid them. In fact, if any of these categories that you find yourself that you don't have a lot of points to talk about them, this is not something you're very comfortable writing about or thinking about, this is your chance. You already have the exam question in the pool, so go through them. And obviously, don't go through all 150 of them unless you have that much time to plan ahead, but definitely go through topics of categories that you're not comfortable with. Now, arts is mostly about some things like some people believe that government funding of the arts is necessary to ensure that arts can flourish and be available to all people. Others believe that government funding of the arts threatens the integrity of the arts. So it can also be labeled as sort of like in how art, the culture of arts interacts with society, and vice versa. Now, a huge category is government and power, and it makes so much sense that I don't even need to explain it. So, one of the examples I found was claim governments must ensure that their major cities receive the financial support they need in order to thrive. You could potentially also see this topic as coming under cities, potentially. Now, intellectual endeavors and philosophical categories, personally, I find them to be interchangeable. But again, the categories is just a way to show you what are the different topics you could face. This is not something that ETS uses. They just have a variety of issues, a variety of general issues that you could talk about. And again, if you look at the pool, the sample tasks, sample essays, sample tasks, you will find that they are indeed very general. They're always going to be two sides of the argument, and you can adopt any one of them and you will be fine. What do we have next? A sample issue task. As people rely more and more on technology to solve problems, the ability of humans to think for themselves will surely deteriorate. Again, this is that technology and society affecting each other kind of topic. And if you look at the instructions, it says the extent to which you agree or disagree with the statement, explain your reasoning for the position you take. In developing and supporting your position, you should consider ways in which the statement might or might not hold true and explain how these considerations shape your position. So, what it's saying is to tell the reader whether or not you agree or disagree, give a reason, give multiple reasons, like explain your point of view, why you agree or disagree, and also consider in ways like why could it potentially not be true, or why could it be the side you're not taking, and how that has affected your argument. So you need to have a well-rounded argument, and that's what shows your analytical thinking. The next, how can you find out whether or not you agree or disagree with a topic or which side you should take? Best way, always make a list. So why would you agree with how technology or society interact with each other or not? The first reason is at times become so dependent on technology, we can't function without them. Best example, face it, you use your calculator for more than just trigonometry and algebra. You probably do end up doing some very basic calculations that you could do in your head, but it just doesn't feel worth it, right? Like 4 plus 2. Admit it, you've done it at some point in your time, in your life. Second potential reason, decreased ability to perform simple calculations. This just basically backs up what I just said. Reasons why you might disagree with our issue statement. Developing technology takes problem solving. Of course, people who created calculators were way ahead of our thing. Like it's way ahead of our thinking. I'm just gonna run with the whole calculator theme here. Second reason, it frees us from mundane tasks. Again, you don't have to think about things so much. You can just get them done. I'm pretty sure people who are doing rocket science don't want to sit down and do trigonometry or algebra and whatever. It would take them years longer, decades longer than it does right now. It provides access to information. Face it, this is internet. This is all internet. Connects people at a distance. Again, internet. We wouldn't be sharing information. You wouldn't be able to watch this video if there was no internet, and I wouldn't be able to interact with you guys without it. Dependent on human ability to think and make choices. So of course, this brings out the whole. There might be abuse of technology, but again, it's a choice that humans make. Potentially that they shouldn't be doing, but again, it's a choice. So you have, say you've written your essay, and how is it going to get scored? Well, you know it's going to be scored between 0 to 6, potentially between 0.5 and 5.5. What does it mean though? What does a score of 4 is very average. And what does that mean? Using our previous example, the best thing would be to clearly describe whether or not you agree or disagree with the topic. I'm going to run with I disagree with the topic. I don't think technology is adversely affecting society. So that should be something I would bring up in the introduction paragraph. And I will be giving reasons, the ones I listed in the previous slide. I would list them as a backup, like that this is my reasoning for the way I think. But I would also talk about the points listed which show that technology it could have adverse effects and how you can potentially prevent them from taking place, if that makes sense to you guys. And this was it. This is a very quick introduction to the issue task. In the next video, we will take a closer look at how you can structure your essay, how you can plan to use your half hour's worth of time, and most of all, we will be taking a look at 2 essay samples and how to get your essay there as well. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.